Okay, so I'm working on my Linux, available on itch. This is my Linux. Just real quick, brief synopsis. For a long time, my Linux was available on GitHub. That is a prototype. Um, all subsequent work on Hackmatrix for the moment will be on the itch and will not be released to GitHub. Um, this is because I want to work on this full time, or because I want this to at least pay for some of its time. So I'm making this game. It's my Linux game. Maybe I'll say working on my Linux game. And so it says it's an MMO. Um, I, I'm really hesitant to say MMO right now. It's an MMO in development, maybe. Anyways, time to get to work on it. So one of the problems are the models here. So this actually is like an old database file, uh, and so I'm going to see if I can actually find some of the newer database or the older. This is a new database file or an old one that overrode a new one, and so I'm trying to find a new one in an old release because this one actually accidentally got released. Maybe I can run this simultaneously in mine. Where is this butler? Okay, that's just the release. It might be able to fetch it. Yep, so go ahead and get the status. So Butler is the itch.io tool. Okay, version 7, so can it get different versions? Maybe it doesn't keep them. I'm not sure if I can actually download all those binaries. Maybe I can get someone else to yeet that file to me. Oh, it has it. Oh, no, it's just getting go itch. Oops. It's just like curling all of these API endpoints. I wish it would have written a script so I didn't have to approve everything and just would have. Oh geez, continue. I interrupted it right as it was about to tell me what it just found, I think. Okay, so there is a build 1. Temp hack matrix build 1. Matrix DB. I guess I could just copy it. So they've already put it in temp. Okay, so if I go to share, and then to Kubernetes hack matrix, probably just going ahead and doing all of this. Parent ID surrogate values. Alright, well. Oh, I think I know what's going on. Maybe. Okay, so technically we shouldn't even have a database to launch this at the moment. So if I close everything, my hunch is that it's using a temporary database, or not a temporary. It's using like one somewhere, like stored somewhere else. Okay, never mind. That was a stupid idea. It clearly needs a database. Whoa, it clearly just created one. Okay, so move the matrix db to matrix.db, and then let's restart it. Whoops. Okay, so the database is messed up. That's fine. So like this, I had everything set up so much different than what it is now. That's fine. I'll fix it right now. It wasn't too crazy. Although I do think I want move underscore matrix db to matrix db. So this is the newest one. So I do think I want the newest one. Because it did say that the newest one had path relative, which means that the assets will load properly, I think. So let's open up the kitty term, and then I edit the world right now through a terminal. So the way that I do that is source deven bin activate. So now I have a virtual environment, and then engine TUI is what it's called, and that is significantly too big for the engine TUI, but I think that will actually work. So that's shaking. That's crazy. Okay, so it does look like all the paths are correct. Water, light fixture. See, this is upsetting because I had a lot of stuff in this world actually. So I had a hacker, a god hacker hanging from this light pole up here. There's just a lot of weird stuff that I added. This temple was like much larger. I added another temple, I added a map, I added engineering. By engineering I mean a gear. So I'm just going to fix all that stuff real quick. And it's annoying that it got deleted like that, but it's just the way that I was, I guess, working on my branches or something. So the first thing is that I want the temple to be larger than it is. And this is, oh, that's interesting. There are actually, I think, 2 temples. Let's take a look at that. So there's the one in Vox. Wait, so are they? So there's another temple here, and that's not. This temple here is the temple that should be loading over there. So this will be. I'll just move this temple to Old Temple in a moment. Okay, so the light fixture. Okay, so it looks like. It looks like everything is here except the temple. Is this the new or the old one? Okay, so this looks like the new one. So I think maybe the old one might be gone. So I actually don't even have to edit these myself. I can just ask the. It's actually hilarious. I can just ask GPT to do it for me, and it will be able to edit them and put them in places. Although if I'm going to increase size, that's probably not something I want to do with that. And the Int2e didn't run because I didn't run Python. It was trying to run the, I forget what it's called, but the, whatever it is that tells it to open a specific interpreter. Okay, so this temple is at scale 1. I think I had it at like scale 4 or 5 or something. It's like I didn't even, it's like an absolutely massive temple now. Alright. So let's stick with scale 2 maybe for now. So at least we're still inside the temple. I think that's what it was. I think that's how I had it. I had it at like scale 2 and then I pushed it into the cave a bit more. I think the cave's probably a little too small too. Yeah, so let's just go ahead and push that into the cave a bit more. So I think that'd be like -20. I forgot what these numbers were set to, but -20 is not it. -15 maybe? Yeah, I had so much here. I had like the cave or the temple pushed back here. I had another temple set up right here. Very upsetting that all of this got deleted. Okay, so I want to move the courtyard. And the way that I had the courtyard set up is I had it, it's a little too high actually, in the air, so like -1 maybe, -2. I think -1's probably too much for it. And I also should probably move it away from where it is. So it's at 0, 0. Oh! Okay, that makes more sense. Okay, so let's do -1. I was like, I didn't see it move, so that's a little strange. Okay, so I'm going to move it 20. I probably want to move it 30 or 40 actually, and then I'm going to rotate it 90. So let's do 30, and then let's do, I think it was a little too high still, so let's do -2. Oops. Let's do -3, see what that looks like. Is it? Okay, so now it's just trees, so maybe -2 is probably a good value. And then it needs a rotation of 90, I believe. Or negative. Okay, maybe it doesn't need a rotation of 90. I thought I needed a rotation. It felt like it just changed it to 180. That was weird. Okay, so I just need to rotate it 270 or -90. I rotated it in the wrong direction. So it wasn't 180, it was 270. There we go. Why there is a courtyard growing in a cave is a little weird, or like trees growing in a cave. Not exactly sure what that's about. I think the temple needs to move back a bit. So the way I had it is I actually had the temple sort of in the wall of the cave, so it's like the temple is part of the cave. And so I kind of like that, so I'll probably go back to that. So that would be the X value actually. So that would be negative, maybe 20 again, -20 again. So we put it back in, whoa, I just accidentally right-clicked and it disappeared, but that wasn't related. So I put the cave, or not the cave, the temple sort of into the cave wall here. So that's cool. I think I'm going to increase the cave size a bit. I think it's just a little too small for what I'm doing. And what I need to do is pretty much keep always this database on backup. And probably find better, quicker, easier ways to edit it. So let's do like a size 7 cave maybe, or a size 8 cave. Just give us a little more room. Let's see, so with that cave, did that put a lot of water under it? No. Okay, so it's a very tall cave. The temple isn't as far back as it needs to be yet. And the courtyard is still rather small. I like the size of it though. Which now means that the temple has to come back. Like negative 26. I got. Let's see, even that has negative 34. Am I even moving it in the correct dimension? I actually do think it's probably like negative 40. It's more akin to negative 40. And then this is probably more akin to... does that move it to the left or the right? Which way does that move it? Okay, so this is more akin to like negative 20. Push it. Yeah, there we go. See, I like that. I think that's decent. I'm not sure of having a hidden space behind the cave. It's a little, or behind the temple. It's a little weird. I suppose that's fine. And so the way to save the database file after it's written is I actually have to, I don't have a save method, I actually have to close and quit the matrix, which is kind of weird. Let's find the courtyard. I'm going to raise it just a bit, so like negative 1.7 probably is probably good enough. It's too far, too low, and it's kind of like in a weird spot. It's like, what is the courtyard even doing? And since the cave grew, I'll probably move that to 40 as well, put it up against the wall, since that's where this one is. And I think the cave is probably center, so... And when I say this one, I mean that's where the temple is. And I'll raise it to negative 0.6. There we go. Okay, so with that, I will close the window to see. Actually, I'm going to move the door now back. I should have like some type of relative stuff so that way the door knows like where it's attached to the cave, and so if I like resize things, like everything's bound to each other. I'm not sure how real game engines work actually in that way. I just know what I have been doing. I have to know what size the cave is. I think the cave went to scale something else. I can't remember. So the cave is scale 8 now, which means that's what the door needs to be. And then I presume the door is probably going to have to move backwards farther, like negative 120 or something. And the door's in the right spot here, so that's good. It needs to move a little bit farther to the left, which would be -40. It's probably going to put the door way out of the frame. Actually, no, that put it exactly where it needed to be, actually. And then this needs to move back probably -138. Oh. Or, you know, just put the door right where we're at, -130. There we go. That's not enough. -140, and then I think 40 was too much. So I think like -38 might do. There we go. I think it's a well-placed door. I think that's fine for a door. It rotates, by the way. I just don't have the mechanism set up yet. But it's supposed to rotate, and there's actually an IDE that opens up when you press period on this, or it's supposed to. You're supposed to look at this, press period, you back up, an IDE opens, and then you have access to the code, and then you should be able to tell it to do all of this, and then when you close it, you save and close, it should automatically run the script. It's not right now, it's a little broken, but that is something that it should definitely do. But at least the the backup and open an IDE seemed to work. I wonder why that broke. Let me try that again. So it worked the first time it opened up the code. It just didn't work the second time. That's weird. Okay, so now the people are like almost directly on the ground. So that's perfect. That's actually, I think, where the cave, it was originally, maybe the correct size originally for the cave. So I might have to increase the resolution for this once I get physics, because it's going to be kind of weird to like walk up these mounds and shit. But okay, I think that's sufficient for this, at least. Q to quit. Cool. Okay, I'm going to exit this and hopefully it saves everything. Oh, I have to fix the lamp posts too. But hopefully that was a clean exit, so I don't have to redo all of that. And to me, that looks like it was a clean exit, so that's good. Everything is super dark now because of the where the lights are positioned. The key also has to move, and like I said, I think I want the lights to be, maybe add more lights or something. Let's check up on chat for a minute. I've got the level fixed. We still live? We're still live. What's up? Hi, before an hour comported a box says. Void Sushi says, hi, what's up? What are you up to? Fia says, hi. I am up to that. I have an itch.io page. If you like Hackmatrix and you want to see it develop more and you want the latest versions, I have retired the open source version, which I am now considering a prototype. And I'm working on this itch.io page. At some point, I may switch back to open sourcing the client. I like the idea of having an open source client. At the moment, it does not seem practical because the MMO components of Hackmatrix are pretty much negligible at the moment. There is a multiplayer server, and so to sell a game that I already have, which is Hackmatrix, I'm just putting Hackmatrix in all future contributions to it under the itch page. So this is the new Hackmatrix project. The open source is now a reference. And really what I should have done is I shouldn't have migrated to Wayland on this. I should have kept this X11. That would have provided a clean split. I would have said, here's the X11 version, you can go play around with that. There's no more work on it. Now I'm working on the Wayland version. That's kind of what this is. I've already had some contributions on the Wayland version. Some people are using just the X11 version. And so I'm thinking about maybe just rewinding all the commits or doing like a patch commit that just rewinds it all back to the X11. So there's like an X11 version here and then the real version that I'm currently working on. So that's that. So if you'd like to support the channel and the work, check that out. But besides that, just working on the Hackmatrix MMO thing. Okay, so there's still a little bit left to do on the world, fixing the world generation, which is that or not world generation, but world design, to get it back to the way it was when I was previously streaming, before I accidentally overwrote it. Is I need to move these, and I think there's probably one more somewhere. And then once I do that, then we should be good to start writing some code, some codex code. Probably. So I'm going to open up this entity TUI, source bin, then activate. Okay, so we go down to the, what is it? Light fixtures. Okay, so I think the first thing we want to do is just raise them, maybe to like 10. See what that looks like. Which one did I even raise? I think this is the hidden one. Let's move it to 0 and see if I can. Oh, never mind. That is the one that looms in the great sky over there. So let's not mess with that one for a moment. This one though, this is the real one, and so we want to increase it probably to 10. Okay, so it's up there, and maybe I should have opened the terminal up here. I need like a search feature. I used to have a search feature on the MGUI version of this. It's been a little weird since I've converted it to a terminal, but it had to be that way because I couldn't figure out how to get the what is it? I couldn't figure out how to get MGUI working with the Wayland port. I actually probably need to move that more, I think. Oh, this is the 100 one, so it needs to be there. This is the one I'm moving. So I need to move it to the left, so that would be farther. Oh, I need to move it farther negative in the X direction, which would move it towards the temple. So negative 24 seems to be probably good enough. Most engines probably have some type of mating, like you just say, put it up against the surface, the mesh surface. 24.5. And 10, and then it's just a little bit off in the z-axis now. So that would be like, needs to go farther, I think. So like 2. or 4 or 3.5. I think it's pretty much good enough for me, although I think it's a little too far on the wall. Maybe a little too small too. If I change its size, it's probably going to, let's see what that looks like. I think it's just a little too high now. And I'll just lock all that in so I don't have to think about it anymore. $68. Okay, I think like maybe 7 is a good alternative. Okay, cool. So negative 24 is the only value I have to change on the other ones. 3.5 and 7 are locked in. So let me do so 7 and 3.5. So that's 7. That is 3.5. And okay, so that one seems to have come from nowhere. Actually amused because it's not in the same spot as the other one. You would think that these two with 7 and 3.5 would have the same like I'm moving that negative. Okay, so that's the distance against the wall. So that's actually negative 24. And so it's this 3.5 that's actually not right. So this one needs to change to like 10 or something. Not sure where I'm putting it. Like negative 20 maybe? That's actually almost perfect. I think I want to make this negative 24.3. And then same with that one. Okay, so we have 1, 2, negative 20, and then this one, which is 100. So I'm going to get rid of this one. So we're going to scale that back to 0.5. We're going to move it to, I believe it was 7. Negative 24.3. And probably 40 or something close to negative 40. Negative. Negative 46. 45.5. Okay, I can take negative 44. Alright, so this is good enough. Good enough for me. So I'm exiting once more to get that saved. And I need to probably fix that. Okay, so there we are. Okay, so I've got the world relatively back to the way it was. So I'll check on chat again. I think I want to get that key fixed, actually. So I want to show you what that behavior is supposed to be. It'll probably happen again. It'll probably work again. So if you press period on it, you have to get it into the reticle, I think. And then press period. It should push you back, and then it should open Vim with a script. And it's not opening that, probably because there's a terminal that it needs to open it in or something. So I haven't looked at that code in a while. So let's go ahead and start up two processes here. The first will be codex, which I will ask, hi, there is a system called Scriptable. It is on the key. When I click, I move back, but the editor doesn't open. It opened once though. I don't know what gives. Look at the menu code for Wayland and look at all the env stuff it passes. That will need to go into the command that opens the term, but also I'm not using Terminator anymore. We are using kitty-term, so maybe that has to change too. Perhaps we can create a config item for the term program users want to open Scriptable with. Anyway, try to fix Scriptable. Okay, so while it's doing that, it's probably going to make serious edits while I'm looking at the code. There probably should be like a way to fork it and give it its own like little environment and then say, oh yeah, that environment looks good, you did a good job, now bring it over to, like, copy it over. I guess is a manual way of doing that. I did say I was going to look at chat before I did this, so. Is it going to open? I think it opened. Oh, there it is. So I can just restore the pages and take a look at the live stream. Hello, everybody. $10 to get Hack Matrix. Yep. Why would it be possible to port this to VR? Yeah, it would. It takes a little bit of changing the GL context. You have to use different APIs. It's pretty easy though. I do plan on getting VR. It's not really something that I use long term. VR. I've tried using it for coding. I put it on my face and it starts hurting my face. So it's not really something I have prioritized at the moment, but it is something that is on the roadmap. People, tons of people have asked about it. So anyways, back to the code here. Okay, so it is trying to, it needs to get the environment set up. So the scriptable component, use Ranger to go find the source, and then the scriptable, which would be, I think it's a system actually. Scripts. Okay, this is how it works. So it has a run script and it's just a Python script for now. There is a script path. Editor command, kitty vim. Okay, so that should work. That's the default command if the config command doesn't exist. Editor.conf. Yeah, I don't think we want the editor.conf anymore. I think we want to read the it said 38. I wonder if it's changed already. How do I reload Vim? I can maybe ask chat that. But edit E to reload a file. Okay. Wow. That's a lot of env to set. Holy shit. Sorry for the cursing, but well, I guess we can give that a try. So the reason why it wouldn't launch with all of this ENV stuff, I'm not sure if it needs Hackmatrix Wayland display. Actually, maybe it does. But the reason why it needs all this is for nested displays and such. I'm in a nested display configuration. I'm using Sway to run the stream, actually. You'll see the two terminals running the stream in Sway when I exit. And so in nested mode, a window could open in Sway or it could open in Hackmatrix, depending on what environment variable is set. And so for the system to know which one to open in, which compositors, the main or the sub, it has to have these environment variables. So this sets it to Wayland-1, whereas the Sway I think is set to Wayland-0. And then display that's for X11 stuff, if you're using an X11 backend. It says it passed, so I'm going to go ahead and close the window, close this as well, and do a reload. Okay, my mouse, maybe it's my mouse battery? Oh, okay, there we go. Okay, so let's open up Kitty Term once more. Oops. Okay. Okay, so what we worked on was the key. And so it says that it should be able to open up the editor now. So let's see if it does that. Moves, doesn't open it. Moves, doesn't open it. Okay. Okay, so when I use Scriptable, it is not opening the editor. Please investigate that. It simply backs up and then nothing happens. Also, I want the configuration to be in config.yaml. It's using an old editor.conf one-liner. I don't think that's what I want. I guess I could use editor. I don't think that's what I want either. Maybe it's what I want. For the game, I think I want it to be fully configurable in a file, though. If this were still in the window manager direction, I would say let's just look at the editor full caps. But I guess you would have to have that. Oh, I guess term is supposed to be set to Kitty. But yeah, the editor, so it needs both the editor and the terminal. So I think that's something I need to say. So it needs both editor and terminal for them at least. Oh, I remember what the editor.conf is for. So there is, and I probably want to get this live again, but there is an editor selection menu. If you look at my YouTube, and you can probably find the video for it, but it'll spawn Vim, Emacs, and VS Code, and you can select the two, and then it'll write it into that editor file. And so then you walk up to the key, and you can use that specific editor. And so that's why that editor.conf is there. Read legacy editor command. Before I ask it something like that, I want to look at the controls for the period. So it moves it back. World action open selection code. Registry bounding sphere on scriptable. Made it change. Systems edit script. Intersect bounding sphere. Logger debug true. Logger debug edit code. Does the period key move me backwards always? No, it's only if it looks at something. And so that doesn't return true. How does it know? It's so strange. So it says that if I press period, I should always move backwards. Okay, that does happen. Okay. So the reason it doesn't open is probably because the bounding box logic is messed up. So I probably have to get like really close to it or something. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that actually works. What doesn't work is the running of the script. So. And then also the bounding box. Must be scripts. Okay, so first off, the that was actually the eSourceWorld.cpp, I think, that had the bounding box. Yeah, the bounded sphere. 10. Let's do a distance of 20. Let's see what that does. Everything's... Or maybe like 15. $20 seems like an absolutely massive scale. So I don't know how I feel about that, but oh, and then after this I should pack up the new changes with the database and ship them to itch, because right now you will see messed up locations for all these items. Technically, I think I could probably do that now, but I'll wait until this builds just to make sure it's good. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and close this and reboot. Okay, let me Right here, and press period. There we go. Okay. Okay, so I should be able to test right away whether or not the scriptable works, because what it's going to do is just yeet a Python script that will open a terminal. And so what that will do is when I close that terminal, should run that Python script and then open the terminal again. We'll see if that works. I'm going to check up on chat. Chat. Nginx or Gentoo, maybe Arch, Gentoo. Very interesting way to interacting with programs. I kind of like it. Yeah, I kind of like it too. I would like to have some more window manager sort of elements, so like a tiling window manager, so I don't have to move places to like work on a workspace. I like the idea of having workspaces. So you move to a workspace, but that workspace can have multiple screens. I think that would be a great addition. Okay, let's go. We'll run the script from the DB. We'll just load it, or we'll load it into memory. Actually, a difficult question that I don't know the answer to, so I'm just going to restart. All right, run on over to the key, and let's try that out. I've got to get closer to it, I guess. Oh, wait, I didn't press period, I pressed slash. Okay, it said it yeeted it into the database, but I don't see it there. Ah. I know what happened. That's fine, I can change this. So I'll just paste it in. Oops, don't want to resume. So what happened was, when Hackmatrix restarted, my question of whether or not the script is in memory or in the database and pulled just from the database was answered. It's in memory and it gets written to the database after it closes Hackmatrix, which is why it got overwritten. So I just need to grab this and then pop it into the keys IDE here. Okay, and so if that works, 1, 2, pop something open. Yeah, heck yeah. Okay, perfect. So the main problem is that we don't have Python Venv. So okay, so all Python ran inside Hackmatrix actually must use the Venv. I don't even know if that script code for moving and such still works. And also, I think I want to crash Hackmatrix so that way it doesn't write the new script that I just added. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. PSA grep matrix sudo kill 9262329. Okay, there we go. With luck, the new script that I just put in there and wrote to it is no longer in there. I didn't look at it well enough, I guess. Probably need a better way to indicate that that's a scriptable. Okay, perfect. Totally just spaced out on what the problem was that I was trying to solve. So I can actually resume the one that we were working with. Okay, so the script double Okay, so I'm quite confident that it's going to be able to make this change. It just has to... Well, there's no vend in the config. That's actually probably a good idea. Vend bin Python. Oh, okay, so there's an environment variable you can pass in the scriptable Python. So that's cool. So let me make sure that's solved what I wanted it to. Okay, I think it probably does. I'm actually a bit concerned that movement, like the move robot, I'm not sure if move works anymore. Sleep move, ID, robot Python. Let's go to the robot, let's see if it moves. I'm just going to try to run that down near the robot, wherever it is. Hello robot, we're going to try to make you move. You can't really see it, but it's that blue wafer thing in there. And if it disappears after I run this, then you know that it's good. Need to entity ID. Okay, so now I need to go get the entity ID for the robot just so I can write that real quick. Where is it? I guess I can use 21. Oh, I shouldn't have closed the terminal. Silly me. Okay, I mean it moved. It's actually moving and sort of breaking things. I think my movement, something's wrong with movement. It's a little slow and broken, but one thing at a time. And that's movement of other objects. Someone said it's probably caused by like shadow casting or something, I'm not sure. So movement works, which means that everything should work now. It's my guess. So if I go to this key, we might be able to get it to move and turn and such. Or maybe I have to, change how the script is written. I think some things changed. Why is it not opening up my code? Does it not have a script anymore? Or is it not scripted? Or is it just broken? Let me restart. I think it was that I was looking at the wrong part of the key. So I think its bounding box is probably not covering the entire key model. It's kind of funny. It might be. I don't know. It should be. I thought I calculated it so that its longest dimension is its radius of or the other radius of the bounding box, or the diameter of the bounding box. I'm not sure if this will just work. Yeah. And I think the reason for that is... Oh my god. That was totally an accident. Let's go back up here. I think this script is just kind of messed up. We changed how to connect to the API or something. Then scripts, move the bot. So we have a client now. Hackmatrix API client, and then it's the client that calls move. And so with this, this is where I need like tmux and 2 windows. Oh, that's kind of cool. Okay, client. So we just create a new client, which will be on the default, which we know works. Client. Then we can say client.move and client.turnkey. That might actually exist. Oh, did I move it? Maybe I have to close it for it to work. Hey! Okay, so the turn-in doesn't work, but the movement works, and it was pretty slow. But I have to, and for some reason the bounding box is like kind of messed up. Okay, so we can just turnkey is broken at the moment. API proto thing been untouched for a while. Okay, it moves again. That is so slow. We'll have to fix that for sure. Okay, so the scriptable is working now, and so really all it was is that we needed a vend because I'm using Gentoo, and Gentoo doesn't have Python that has a like global install space. Won't allow me to install user libraries in the global, so I have to use a venv. Which means that the venv probably needs to be packaged to be a butler. Anyways, I did say I was going to deploy the new models. By that I mean just like the well-placed models that were already in extant, but were just like for some reason in the wrong spot. Database overwrite. Okay, so diff config, oops. Okay. Config and source. Oh, that's all I want for that. What is this matrix script? I'm thinking about something else right now. Thinking about this itch deploy. Get all of that new stuff added in. I'm still alive, maybe? Or it crashed? Oh, nope, still alive. Still good to go. Seems like the viewership has precipitously crashed, which is interesting. Anyways, it has been an hour. I'm actually kind of tired. I have deployed the newest things that I have done on this live stream. And so with that, if there are any comments, although I don't think anybody's watching anymore, as far as I can tell. So, adios.